Man, that is how you do a sequel. So, after 24 years, Ridley Scott is back with another Gladiator movie, Gladiator 2, and he brings with him a pretty star-studded cast here. We've got Paul Mescal, Pedro Pascal, Denzel Washington, Joseph Quinn, and Connie Nielsen, among many, many others. Look, I did not know much about Gladiator 2 before going to see the movie. All I knew from it was what I saw in the trailer, so I'll give you a pretty shortened down version of that plot summary. Without giving away too many character names, Paul Mescal's character is out looking for revenge from the general of the Roman army. Denzel Washington picks up Paul Mescal as a gladiator and helps him work his way to the top of the Roman Empire. Denzel Washington has some devious plans of his own, and there's a shit ton of action and a lot of animals in the Colosseum all fighting together. So, pretty action-packed movie. Yeah, I think that's about the gist of it. If you weren't sold on Ridley Scott making another Gladiator movie and that trailer, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to sell it to you. Right off the bat here, I'm going to talk about the actors and the characters, because not only are they so well played by every single actor, Paul Mescal being the leading man in this movie, all their characters are extremely well fleshed out. You know where they come from and you know their motivations, and that makes you want to root for them that much more. But on the flip side, and what is annoying about that is, because they're all so well done, when they get pitted against each other, you don't know who's going to win and who's going to come out on top, and you don't know who to root for anymore. So it's just a fucking nail biter all the way until the ending, which I promise you ends in epic fashion. In particular, I love the dynamic between Denzel Washington and Paul Mescal. It's a synergy we've seen before, especially in Gladiator 1, but here it's a gladiator and its gladiator owner, and they kind of want and need things from each other to get to where they want in the Roman Empire. For Denzel Washington, it's power. For Paul Mescal, it's revenge. It's a partnership that can be mistaken for friendship, but when power is on the line, your best and only ally is yourself. Moving right along, we've got Pedro Pascal, and oh my god, is he not a great dramatic actor? I'd say he had a pretty tough job with his character in this movie. He's the general of the Roman Empire, he's a soldier that's seen the worst of battle, and he's a chess piece on the playing field of war. But when war is won, land is conquered, and the last soldier hits the ground, all he wants to do is be back home with his wife and live a peaceful life. Sound familiar? Yeah, I think this movie absolutely treads on old ground of the previous, most notably in its themes: politics, revenge, honor, tyranny, and redemption. But did that make me feel any less invested in these characters or the story that was being told? Absolutely fucking not. I think if you're going to make a genre piece like this about the Roman Empire, about tyranny and revenge and honor and all that bullshit, you're absolutely going to fall back on some staples of the genre. But I don't think it's what Ridley Scott used as themes in this movie that makes it good. I think it's how well it was made that makes it great. And that's thanks to the great writing, acting, and directing here. Everything in this movie is stitched together so fucking well. It holds your attention right from the start to the very end. It's a 2.5-hour movie. And honestly, I just wanted it to keep fucking going. I was so invested in what was happening and these characters. I wanted them to live past, well, how long they live to, but without getting into spoilers, there are characters here that I wish I got to see more of and learn about. Like, oh my god, I've got to talk about Joseph Quinn, because he's slowly becoming one of my favorite actors these days. I think Stranger Things was like one of his breakout roles where he played this fun, over-the-top, heavy metal, headbanging fucking high schooler dude. And then he did A Quiet Place Day 1, and he plays this pretty laid-back, regular office worker in the middle of an apocalypse that he didn't see himself going into, obviously. And now in Gladiator 2, he's like one half of the new emperors of Rome himself. His character is Emperor Geta, I believe is how you would pronounce it. And then his brother, who's the other half of the emperors of Rome, the new emperors of Rome, who's Emperor Caracalla. This fucking crazy duet here is like if King Joffrey had twin babies and they grew up to be the next kings of Westeros. But back to Joseph Quinn, the reason I single him out here is because it's been so cool to see his career grow and to have so many standout acts from him and performances, this being, I think, one of his best to date. And it's so unrecognizable. It's almost like Colin Farrell as the Penguin. It's an unrecognizable performance from Colin Farrell. And if fucking Joseph Quinn was doused in incredible makeup and latex in this movie, I think you would never for the life of you guess that it was Joseph Quinn. But his character and his brother's character kind of wear this weird pale white makeup throughout the whole movie, which is pretty noticeable, so you can see Joseph Quinn's face, but if you couldn't, I don't think you would ever for the life of you pick that it was him. Anyway, all that to say, I fucking love this movie. It was so entertaining from start to finish. It is a 2.5-hour movie, but I promise you, you will not get bored in the slightest. You will have a great time the entirety of the way through. The action is phenomenal. I love the way that the camera kind of lets all the action breathe and just let the choreography speak for itself. There's never any like weird close-ups to actors' faces or emotions or anything during fight scenes. It's all just splayed out on like this massive scale, and you just get to embrace the violence and the gore and the disgusting nature of it all. What I will say is the CGI is not a standout here, and by that I mean you fucking don't notice it at all. Like, that's what you want CGI to be. It's like you have to really look for it. Obviously, all the animals are CGI, but it's like, did they really get a monkey to do that? And some of the side acts here are a real standout too. I'd say Matt Lucas is one of them. Absolutely. He got quite a few laughs from my audience in particular. So he was great as well. He's only in like a handful of scenes and he has a handful of lines, but when he's on screen, he makes you laugh, and that's what you want from side characters. I think it's about time to wrap it up here. So, Gladiator 2 is amazing. It's one of those sequels where I think fans of the series are going to have some fights over which one is better now. In my personal opinion, I think the first Gladiator movie still holds up incredibly fucking well to this day. All of the filmmaking is really well done and doesn't age a bit at all. Maybe for some weird CGI moments when he's like having his dream escapes, but other than that, I think the movie holds up extremely well. But Gladiator 2 might be just a smidgen better, like in terms of filmmaking. Regardless of anything else, in terms of filmmaking and quality, absolutely a massive step up. Fucking, that's what you'd expect from a 24-year age gap. I mean, honestly, the sequel is just everything you want from a Gladiator sequel, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed.